So before you log into your retirement fund and hit that really tempting withdraw button, hold on a second. Stop right there and listen. Right now, there are thousands of South Africans dipping into their newly accessible savings pot, and they're treating that money like a tax-free bonus. But here is the absolute hard truth. It is definitely not a bonus. Not even close. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to uncover the hidden costs of South Africa's two-pot retirement system. Because by the end of our time together today, you're going to know exactly what a withdrawal is truly going to cost you, way before SARS ever sends you the bill.
Here's our roadmap for today. 1. The two-pot system explained. 2. The free money illusion. 3. The tax bracket trap. And 4. What to do before you hit withdraw. All right, let's dive straight into Section 1, the two-pot system explained.
Now, to understand the trap here, we really need a quick refresher on how we actually got here. Before September 2024, your retirement contributions went into a single, largely locked system, the vested pot. Then, September 2024 rolls around and the two-pot system officially launches, permanently changing our contribution structure. And that brings us to present day, where withdrawal eligibility is literally the massive topic of conversation around pretty much every dinner table right now.
So whenever you contribute to your retirement now, 2/3 goes strictly into your retirement pot, locked away securely until you finally retire. But 1/3, that goes into this newly created savings pot. And for the very first time, you can actually access this money once per tax year without having to resign or change jobs. I mean, sounds incredibly convenient, right? But as you'll see, convenience often comes with a really hefty price tag. Which brings us to Section 2, the free money illusion. You see, that new accessibility, it's creating a super dangerous psychological trap. A lot of folks just assume this is basically free money, and that withdrawals are taxed at some flat, predictable rate. You look at that alluring balance, you see a nice round number, and you naturally assume that's exactly what's going to land in your bank account, maybe minus a tiny administrative fee. Well, actually, scratch that. That assumption is completely wrong, and honestly, it's costing people dearly. To really shatter that illusion, let's look at how SARS actually handles this money. When you pull cash from that savings pot, SARS doesn't view it as some special protected retirement payout. No way. They view it strictly as regular taxable income. That means every single rand you pull out is added directly onto your normal salary for the year. SARS treats this exactly the same way they treat a cash bonus at work. You're basically giving yourself a taxable raise for that specific tax year. And, well, as we all know, when your taxable income goes up, your tax liability goes right up with it. Let's get into the math. Section 3, the tax bracket trap. This is the core of the danger right here, how that extra taxable income can literally ambush you. Let's look at the real-world numbers. Say your income sits comfortably inside the 26% tax bracket, right? You make a modest 10,000 Rand withdrawal. It stays in that bracket, gets taxed at roughly 26%, and your net payout is around 7,400. Honestly, not too bad. But look at the bracket trap. If you earn 380,000 Rand a year, and you decide to pull 50,000 Rand from your savings pot, your total taxable income jumps to 430,000. Boom! You just pushed a whole portion of your income directly into the higher 31% tax bracket. So instead of a flat 26% deduction, the tax on that withdrawal absolutely skyrockets.
34,655 Rand. That is your actual net payout on a 50,000 Rand withdrawal in that scenario. Your effective tax rate on that chunk of money becomes closer to 31%, definitely not the 26% you probably expected. Think about it. You started the process thinking you had 50 grand to solve your problems, and almost a third of it just vanished into the tax system before it even hit your bank account. But wait, it actually gets a bit more complicated than that. What happens if there's a mismatch? You see, when your retirement fund pays you out, they withhold tax using SARS's standard withdrawal tables for that specific time. But those tables, they don't always land exactly on your true final marginal rate. If there's a mismatch between what the fund withheld and what you actually owe based on your new higher annual income, SARS is going to settle the difference later when you file your return during tax season. That means you could end up with a surprise refund, which is great, or, much worse, an unexpected and super hefty tax bill months after you've already spent the money. So how do we protect ourselves? Section 4, before you hit withdraw. Now that we understand the traps, here's a highly pragmatic, 3-step checklist to empower yourself. First critical question you gotta ask. Do I actually need this cash right now? I know, it is so tempting to withdraw simply because you can. But a withdrawal you don't strictly need is future retirement compound growth that you are giving up permanently. You aren't just paying tax today, you are quite literally killing the future growth of that money. Question 2. Will this push me into the next tax bracket? We just saw how devastating that can be, right?
So go grab your last payslip and just glance at the current SARS tax tables. You can figure this all out in under 5 minutes. Knowing exactly where your salary sits relative to the next bracket ceiling is the absolute only way to predict what a withdrawal is truly going to cost you.
And the final question, is there a cheaper way to solve the problem this cash is meant to solve? Seriously, why give SARS 30% or more of your savings if you have other options? Think about it for a second. Could you dip into a standard emergency fund instead? Could you maybe use a short-term loan? Or could you simply tighten your belt and wait just one more pay cycle? Oftentimes, these alternatives cost you significantly less than what you'll permanently lose to severe taxes in a two-pot withdrawal.
It's so important to remember. The two-pot system isn't a trap. It's actually a genuinely useful safety valve when you use it deliberately. It prevents people from having to completely resign from their jobs just to access emergency cash, which, let's be honest, is a massive improvement. The real danger here is just going on autopilot and withdrawing without doing the math first. So here is your clear action step. Check your current tax bracket before you ever hit withdraw. Taking just 5 minutes to do the math could literally save you thousands of rands. And I want to leave you with a final thought today. When you look at the heavy, immediate tax burden and the permanent loss of future growth, is that short-term injection of cash truly worth the long-term cost to your financial freedom? Take control of your numbers, use the system deliberately, and please, don't let the free money illusion cost you your future. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.